Hello everyone, it's Prajwal Pathak this side and I'm watching my YouTube channel Pyguru. Friends, this is the fifth tutorial in the series Game Development with Python and Pygame, and here in this particular series we are building the Dino game clone using Python. Okay, so in the last tutorial we tried added collision detection in our game. Moving further in this video we will try to wrap up our game by adding scores and sounds in our game. Okay, so let's get started. But before adding scores and sounds, there are two more things that I want to add in my game. First of all, you have to download this sounds folder, and there are a few more assets that I have added. So just go to the video description and click the download link, and you will get the resources along with the source code. Okay. So there are a few things that I want to add in my game, like these clouds and these stars. I want to implement this in my game. So first of all, I want to add a cloud system in my game. This is a cloud image, and I want to add this image in my game. So let's see how can we add it, and then we'll move to the stars, and finally we will add the sounds and scores. Okay, so let me just copy this cactus class here and paste it here. Since it's quite matching, we are just going to use this cactus class as our copy. Okay, so let's see how can we use it. First of all, we have to change its name to wait a second. We have to change its name to cloud. So let me just change its name to cloud here. Now see, I have only one image as cloud, so I do not need these things here. What I will do is, I will just wrap up this line. Let me just remove this line here, and here I'll load my image like this: pygame.image.load. So let me just load it: pygame.image.load, and here I'll pass my location of my cloud PNG. So assets and then cloud PNG. It's directly available here. So let me just use it. So again, let me just copy this line, and I'm just going to resize this particular image, and you can resize the images like this: transform dot scale, and here the image that you want to resize, and our image is self.image, and here the new width and height. So I want to resize it with 60 and 18 as new width and height. Then the rest code will be same. The self.x will be equal to x. Now we will take it as from the user, and y will be equal to y. Again, we do not need type. Instead, we just want the x and y position of our cloud, and we will just start showing it. The second thing will be the same. It will take speed and Dino as arguments, and if Dino is dot alive, we will keep moving it towards the left direction. And we do not need the mask because we do not have to check for collision detection here. So this is it for our cloud. So let's just try to add it in our game. So cloud. Okay, so here I have to create another group that will be cloud group, and this will keep all the copies of our cloud. So let me just change its name here. Cloud looks good, and then we have to update it. So we are just going to update it. Cactus here. Let me just copy paste it, and I will make it cloud here. So cloud group. Looks good now. The only thing that is left is we have to add this to our game. Okay, so we have to generate these clouds. So what I'm going to do is I will create a variable here that will keep the time when we have to generate the cloud. So cloud time, it will be equal to 500, which means I want to create a cloud every 500 frames. So we'll just come here, and inside our counter thing, we will check for counting again, and we'll do it like this. Let me just copy this particular line here, and instead of enemy time, we will check for cloud time, and if it is there, we will generate a y position. So let me just remove this particular line here. Y will be equal to random.randint. Instead of getting only two values, I want all possible random integers between 40 to 100. Okay, it's up to you. Again, you can change these values up to you accordingly. Okay, so 40 up to 100, and then I want to create a cloud, and finally we have to add it to our cloud group. So cloud, and rest will be same. So if I just try running this game once again, we might see our cloud here. So let's see. Okay, there's only one error. We have to create an object of cloud class. So let's just run it and see. Okay, I got out. And then let us jump. Okay, we have to play for some time in order to get a cloud generated. Yes, so there's a cloud here. Okay, so it's working fine. So this is how you can generate clouds in your game. The same thing we have to do for stars. So let's just copy this particular class and paste it for stars here. Okay, now we have to change its name. So I want to make it star, so I will just create it like this. Again, we are just going to load this particular image. I have a star image which I want to load. Now this is a special kind of thing. See, there are 3 stars in this particular image, and I want to generate either one of these in my game at some particular time or at some particular random time. So first of all, what we are going to do is we are just going to load this particular image. So star dot png. Okay, then what we are going to do, we will just load it as a simple image, not a self dot image. I'm just going to create an image or star list, whatever you see, image list. Okay, and then I'm just going to separate these 3 stars as separate images. Okay, I'm just going to separate these 3 stars and store each of them in an array. So there are 3 stars, so I'll use a for loop for I in range 3. Img equals, now see, if you have some image and you want to cut a particular part of that image, you can cut it like this: image dot subsurface. This is a function which we can use to cut a certain part of the image, and here you have to pass x, y, width and height. So I want to start the x from the 0 position, that is star is something like this. So I want to start from 0, and width will be 18 as the width of our image is 18, and then our height, and then y position. That's it. Okay, so y will be variable every time. It will depend on the I. So 20 into y, then width is 18 and the height is 18. So it looks good now, and we are just going to append it to our image list here. Image list dot append, and we are just going to append this img here. Now everything looks good. The only thing that we are left to do is we do not need to transform it. No scaling needed here. The only thing we are going to load is one particular image of this particular image list. So image list, we will take an argument from user type, which will be a value from 1 to 3 instead of x and y, and there will be one more argument here, type, which will determine which star we want to generate. So again, type will be 1 to 3, but indexing is list start from 0. That's why we are subtracting 1 from it, and the rest of all the code will be same here. Nothing will change. Finally, we are just going to import it in our game. So let's just import it, and then we'll create another group for our stars. So let's just create it. Sorry, like this here, and here we will create a star group. Now we have to create a variable here, start time. It will determine at what particular amount of time we want to generate a star, and it's up to you at what time you want to create a star. I want to create a star at every 175 frames. So 6 3 are 18. It means every 3 seconds a star will be generated. The final thing that we are left to do is we have to generate it. So again, we will just commit inside our counter check loop. So here we will check for stars now. So let me just play it here, paste it here. So if counter mod by star time, like this, stars time equals 0, then we want to create a star. Also, we want one more random value, that is type variable. So again, we are just going to load it, create it randomly. So random dot randint. We want to create a number between 1 and 3, so we are just going to pass 1 and 3 here. Then we have to pass the x, which will be width, the y, and then the type. So let's just pass type here. Again, we want to create an object of type star, and then we want to add it to our stars group. So let's just add it to our star group. That's it. Sorry. Yes, so it looks good now. And then finally we have to update these things. So let's just update it here. Paste it. So star group. So everything looks good now. The only thing that we have to pass is I want to make the speed of these stars and clouds different from our ground and our Terra group. Okay. So stars and cloud will have a speed as speed minus 3. So if it's 5, the original speed is 5, then our stars and clouds will move at 2 pixels per second. And then our Terra will move at 4 pixels per second. So everything looks good. Let's try running it once again. Let's see if it works or not. So yes, the game has started. Here we have some error. Let's see. Name SEL is not defined. Where it's here. Cell. That's it. So let's try running it once again. And let's see if it works or not. Okay, so there's a star. Yes, it's working perfectly. And just another star. So yes, this is how you can generate a star randomly in your game. Everything looks good. Now we can move further. So the one thing that I want to add in my game is a start page. See, if I just run this game, my game just starts automatically. I do not want that. I want whenever user press space key, then only my game should start. So I will create a variable here, start page, and I will make it false. It means the game has not started, so we will get a start page here. And we will check for space here. If start page, we will make the start page value equals false. Okay, so currently it's false, and here it should be true. So initially we will be on the start page, and whenever we press space, it should get false. Finally, we have to make it elif instead of if. And finally, we will check for here. If start page, then we want to do few things. And that is, if start page, I want to load an image. I want to show a particular image. Else, what I want to do is, I will just wrap all of this Dino code, Dino run code inside my else condition up till here. So yes, everything looks good now. The only thing left is we want to display an image here. So let's just display our start image, and my start image is in the assets folder again. So this is the image that I want to show. So let me just load it, and you have to just copy it and paste it here. Okay, so start img, it should be start img. Finally, it's we have to also change its name here, start img, and also here start img. That's it. Now we need to change its width and height. So I want to resize it as 60, 64. And since it's loaded, we can just now show it here. I'm just going to directly blit it, win.blit, and here I'm just going to show my Dino image. So start img, and here we have to pass the x and y position of our Dino. So I want to show it at this particular position, 50, 100. So let's just try running it here once again, and this time, see, the game does not start automatically. Instead, if we press space, then only the game will start. Yes, so this is how the game will start. So everything looks good. Now let's try adding scores to our game. So for adding scores, I have an image here, and this image contains few numbers and a string high, which is represented for high score. Okay, so there are few numbers and this string. What I want to do is I want to load these things. So let's see how can we do it. It's very easy. First of all, the thing that we are going to do is we are just going to load this number image. So let me just paste it here, this particular thing, and we are just going to make it numbers. So looks good. So numbers, we have successfully loaded it. We do not want to resize it, or you can resize it, it's for you. So I want to resize it as 120, 12. Initially it's 240 by 24. I want to just increase it by 50%, decrease it by 50%. So since now we have loaded it, we have to create few variables, and we are just going to create our variables here. And the variables will be the score and high score. There will be two variables. The one will check for score, and the another will check for high score. So high score equals 0. Initially both the values will be 0. One more thing, since we have created two new groups, we have to reset them too. Let me just use this two groups and make them empty here. Then it will look good. Okay, so dot empty here, Now we can move further, and we can, since we have generated two numbers, we have to think of a way by which we can generate our increase our score. So we will do it here inside the counter thing again. What I want to do is, if my counter is mod by 5, then I want to increase my score by 1. So if counter mod by 5 is equal to 0, I want to increase the score by 1. So you can just try printing it, print the score here, and then you will see the score will start printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. But I'm not going to print it because it will just hang my Sublime Text 3. I do not have very high specs computer. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are just going to show this score on a screen. So for this, I will show it like this. Currently it is an integer value. So first of all, I want to convert it into a string value. So string score equals str, and I'll just pass score value here. Now I'll use a special Python function gfill, and I'll pass 5 here. Now what does this means? Initially our score will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I want to do is I want to make it 5 digits. So 4 zeros will be added to the beginning of our score. So currently it's 1. So when we convert it to string, it will become 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Then 0, 0, 0, 0, 2 up to like this. So I want to make our string 5 of length 5. So then for I in I comma num, if you know about enumerate, we are just going to use that particular enumerate function here. So enumerate, and we are just going to pass our string score, and then just wait a second. So let's just enumerate our string here, and then we'll move. We will start showing our score on the screen. So string score, and then win.blit, which is a window, and then again see there are 10 numbers in my screen here, and there's a string high, which is for high score. So I want to show these numbers on my screen. So again, I'm just going to do a subsurface kind of thing, but a different way here. Numbers img, which is our image, and then the position where you want to show your screen. So x and y position. Okay, so we know that in the win.blit we can pass x and y, and that particular image will be shown at that particular position. So I want to make it like this: 520 multiplied by 11. 520 plus 11 multiplied by I. This is my x position, and the y position will be 10. So it looks good now. There's a third element which you can pass in your blit function, that is a rectangle, and that rectangle will determine what part of image you want to show on your screen. So that's what we are going to do here. Again, you have to pass x, y, width and height. That's that we did in our stars case, like here. The same thing we are going to do here. So it will be the x position will differ like this: 10 multiplied by I, and 10 multiplied by num of 0, int number. Now I is for index and num is for particular number here. So here 0 is at 0, 1 is at 1 index, 2 is at 2 index, like this. So I stores the index and num stores the number here. Then 0, then 10, and then 12. So if I just run this game, you will now start seeing the scores on my screen. So see, it's working fine. So scores are being shown on my screen like this. Okay, again we have to reset it, but for that, before that, what I want to do is I want to also show high score on my screen. So let's just add high score now. If high score, now see, we are simply showing the score as the game runs. There should be some score, but we want to show the high score only when there is some score, when there is some high score. We do not want to show it when it's 0. So that's why if condition, it will check if the high score is greater than 0 or not, then only it will show on my screen. So we are just going to copy this line here and paste it again here. Now win.blit, numbers img, then the x and y position. So I want to show it at this particular position, that is 455 455 plus 11 into y, and then the y will be the same, and then the x, y, and the rest will be same. So it should be good now. But also I want to do one more thing. First of all, let me just copy this particular line here. We have to iterate, then we have to show. And I also want to show this high string. Okay, high. So let's see how can we do it. Again, it's very easy. We have to just use the win.blit function here. So win.blit numbers img, and then the x and y of position. So 425, 10. So like this, and finally the part of image which we want to show. So I want to show 100, 0, 20, 12. This is the part I want to show on my screen. If I just run this game once again, now we will see few things. So let it get executed here. So I just got out, the score is 41. Now, okay, so here we are not updating our score, that's why we are not able to see the high score here. So let's see how can we do that. So the only thing that we have to do is, we have to check here, we have to come inside our reset function. So just like we are resetting our speeds and the counter, we are going to make two more variables, global score and high score, like this. So what I want to do is, if score, here I am writing condition, it means if the score is greater than 0 and score is greater than equal to high score, then I want to make our high score variable equal to score. Finally, I want to just reset my score back to 0. That's all. Now if we just run this game once again, you will see there will be high score being shown on our game window. So you nearly completed everything. The only thing left is to add sounds in your game. Yes. Okay, so something is being changed here. Our high score is keeps being changed along with our score. So it's because it may be something due to here. If I score for here, just wait a second, and here's a silly mistake that I have did, and that is this particular line. So let me just copy this line and paste it here. We want to show the text on the high score and not this our score thing. So string score, and here I want to make it high score instead of string score. So yes, it's good now. Let's try running it once again, and this time everything should work fine. Then finally we'll add the sound to our game. So now I can just jump it like this, and if I get out, currently see there our high score is 0, that's why nothing is being shown. But if I just replay the game, our high score will be shown on our game window. So this is it. This is how you can add the sound and score. The third thing, the next thing that I want to add is, I want to increase my game speed a little. Whenever we increase, we get some scores. So we can just do that like this. Just after checking for, or before checking for our counter mod by 5, we can check if our speed, if our score is mod by 100. So we can check it like this. Instead of like this, if counter mod by 100, it means at every 100 frames I want to increase my speed a little. So I can make the speed plus equals 0.1. Currently it's 5, then it will become 5.1, then 5.2, and I also want to decrease my enemy time by minus 0.5. So it will affect when you play the game for a long time. It will not be shown initially. Okay. So the final thing that is left to do is to add sounds in our game, and then after that our game will be completed. There will be one more part for this game, and there we'll try adding cheat codes in your game, but that's not compulsory. It's an extra part. If you want, you can just implement it, otherwise not. There are 3 music effects that I want to add in my game, and again these are inside the sounds folder. So these are 3 music effects that I want to add. So first of all, we have to load them. So jump fx, this is my variable name. So again, you can create any variable name. Jump fx equals pygame.mixer.sound. This is a function by which we can load a sound, pygame.mixer.sound, and here we have to pass the path to our sounds and jump.wave. This is it. Now there are two more music effects that I want to load. The next music effect that I want to load is the die effects. It will play when our dino is dead. So die.wave, and finally the third effect is the checkpoint. It plays when your score reaches a mod of 100. When your score is divisible by 100. So checkpoint.wave. So it looks good. Now let's try adding to play these sounds. So we want to play these sounds. First of all, whenever we press the space key, so here I want to play this particular sound, that is jump effects.sound. Whenever we jump, I want to play this particular sound. So we can jump by using two keys, the up and the space. So that we have to type it 2 times, jump effects.play. Then we have to check for this particular thing. If score is mod by 100, then we want to play the next sound, that is this one. If score, it means if the score is greater than 0 and score mod by 100 is equal to 0, then we want to play our checkpoint effects dot play. The final thing that we want to add is to add the die effects dot play, and we want to play it when our dino gets collided. So it's completed now. So let's try playing the game once again. Yes, so jump is working. We have an issue here. Name die is not defined. So die effects, it should be die effects. So let's try once again. Jump working. Checkpoint also working. And die is also working. Yes, so this is it for this video, and with this we have completed our dino game. Now there's one more optional video that I will be creating, and that will be for adding cheat codes to a game. Now again, this is optional video, it's up to you. If you want to implement, you can implement it, otherwise not. So this is it for this video guys. If you love this video, leave a like or a dislike. If you're new to my channel, subscribe it. Thank you, see you in the next tutorial.